What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be looking at Lego's new releases that are either coming out in November or the ones that are up for pre-order coming out at a later date this year. We've got some really cool items to cover today, so let's go. Before we get started in today's video, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and most importantly, leave a comment down below. Let me know throughout this video which set you're most looking forward to. I think there's one that I'm very much looking forward to, and I can't wait to talk about it because I'm very excited for its release, but we're going to get into the details later on. But yeah, let me know down below in the comments which set you actually are planning on buying, whether it's in November or December coming up for this holiday season. Just to make it a little bit easier is basically I filtered in and I just apply a filter for coming soon and then as well as pre-order, because yeah, usually like some of these sets, like for example, they tell you when they're going to come out. Like obviously we're going to talk about the Natural History Museum, and then you got like the tiny plants, all this stuff here, but they're usually coming out basically in November or it's coming out later on. The main thing for this one is I know that there's a lot of channels that do talk about the leaks that and all the projected stuff that's going to happen. Like for example, I think the new minifigure series 25 I think is supposed to release soon. I don't remember if it's supposed to be December or January or something, but I thought that was going to be actually for November, but apparently not. But anyways, the whole point of this is like I just want to talk about, we'll go through a lot of these individual pieces. I think there's 11 in total, so there's, I mean, you can tell right off the bat, like the really cool one is definitely going to be the Natural History Museum, so we are going to start the video off with that one. So I watched a couple little clips about this one. What I do like the most about it is that this is apparently is now the biggest Lego modular building, and it only beats the assembly square by a little bit of amount. So yeah, here if you look at the assembly square, it's 4,002 pieces, but then if you go to the Natural History Museum, it's 4,014 pieces. So it's actually bigger when it comes to piece count, and then it's 31 centimeters high, 39 centimeters wide, 25 centimeters in depth, and then this one here, the assembly square, does it anyways, I'm not totally sure. I don't know where the dimensions are, but either way, I remember watching a video about it and it's a little bit bigger, I'm pretty sure, in all the dimensions. And then again, it's got like, what was that, an extra 12 pieces, which I think is really funny in the end. I wonder if they just did that on purpose by adding a couple more minifigures or something. But anyways, so if you live in Canada, this thing retails for $389.99, so $390. I think definitely when this set comes out, I'm probably going to be purchasing it. I don't think I'll purchase it right away because I like waiting for double VIP points when it comes to these things, but in general, like, or double insider points, because think about it, now you're getting 4,000 points instead of 1950, which is incredible. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this for a second. Like, I know that this was apparently a heavily requested set. Just looking at it off the first glance, and I do agree with some people, everyone's like a little bit confused because the detail on the outside of the brick is a little bit bland. And if you kind of go through, I'll just turn this off and play this while we're talking, but if you kind of go through, I do really like the olive green color that goes with it, but I do feel like I think they should have kept bricks going the whole time. So if you kind of go back to here, you can see like the olive color bricks. Is there a good close-up of it? Yeah, like you can kind of see it right down here in the middle here. So a big comment that people were talking about is they think that this colored brick, like I guess it's like the brick color, but it's an olive color, they should have included it more throughout to give the thing a little bit more texture, because otherwise if you kind of look at it from far, it's a little bit bland. But at the same time, I think that like museums don't necessarily need to be like the most exquisite exterior. Like you don't need to be looking at like the assembly square, we have all these different colors, but I do think if you compare to the assembly square, they could have accentuated more of the bricks, especially for the outside facade. I think that would have been better. Like for example, the columns, and then the, what's that top piece called? Not partitions. Someone in the comments can write that in. I totally forgot what it is, but like this right here I think is really nice, and I think they could have kept it going maybe on the outsides. But either way, I think it's really cool. The one thing I'm actually love the most, I do love dinosaurs. I think dinosaurs are so cool. I love this idea that they took, I don't even know what dinosaurs this is. That's how much I love dinosaurs. It's the not Stegosaurus. What's the long one? Brachiosaurus. That's what it's called. I really like the Brachiosaurus. I like the fact that it goes between two levels. They've never really done anything like that where you have an item or a statue that's inside that goes through both levels. Like this is, I think, is a really cool example of what it looks like. So I am definitely a really big fan of this. Yeah, I think that's definitely got to be the piece that caught my eye the most. I guess we'll kind of go through like just the actual site itself. So if you haven't really had a chance to go through, I mean, you can obviously watch my video or go look at it yourself, and I'm just going to give my own opinion about it. I do think it's kind of got a nice friendly atmosphere to it, similar to like Night of the Museum style. Obviously it's a museum, so it's pretty straightforward, but like I do like the fact that they created more of like, you know, obviously a lot of adults would be be building this, and I guess kids as well, for, you know, their own Lego cities or anything like that. But I do think it's actually really cool that they incorporate both like the space theme as well as like the dinosaur theme. So you kind of get a bit of like, you know, the older people who, or I want to say older people, more adult people who might build it might be more interested in like the sci-fi futuristic stuff. But then they also have, I mean, every kid loves dinosaurs. I don't know what kid doesn't. So you kind of have like a clash of both on that fun spectrum in that sense. So, but yeah, I have to say this looks really nice when you put the jazz club, when you put the museum, when you put the boutique hotel together. This is where for me it stands out the most. Like the colors make more sense. I feel like when the colors are by themselves, when you're just looking at it as a standalone piece, it does feel a little bit bland. But looking back at it, I do think it's really nice and seeing it as, it looks better as a piece when it's with the other modular buildings. And when you look at it from a standalone, you do get the perspective that it's a little bit too bland. I don't know. I think this is actually really cool just looking at this for the first time. So yeah, like inside of it, there's actually a bunch of different areas, which I do love as well, because sometimes with the modular buildings, like a good example is like the Grand Emporium, where they didn't really take that much time to put details on the inside, which is where you should. It's a shopping center. Like it's supposed to be a mall, right? And like you go up to each level and there's not very many rooms or anything that much going on. With this one here, and what I like about the modulars, which is what they've continued going forward with, is actually adding that detail. And the thing with museums is the museums has different exhibits. And so when you want to go through a museum, you want to see different exhibits. And I think that was where they really did a good job on, because you got, for example, like in here, you have a curator's office for like private staff access only. Here you have like the astronomy exhibit, which is really cool because again, you've got the kids playing with it. Kids love that stuff too. I mean, same with adults, whatever may end up being. Then you have the flip side where you've got future and past. So then you now have the ancient artifacts, you know, and all of those things that go with that. And then on top of that, you've got a galaxy view. You know, I like the fact that they have the telescope. You know, obviously this thing's fully compatible. For me, like being able to show that you have different rooms, different segments is what makes it a museum. And I think they really did a good job of capturing it. I do like the fact that they brought back banners. I feel like, you know, I've been watching some videos of some of the old sets. Like for example, they've got some of the old like Western style sets that used to have the teepees that had like, they're kind of like banners, or like those plastic, like it's like the plastic style. I don't know, it's the plastic style pieces that are like more like, I'm pretty sure the banners are the same thing, and I'm glad that they're bringing those back because I do really like them, and I do think that they bring a different texture that we're, you know, especially when you look at these buildings here, you know, we're all using the same kind of material. You're using a different kind of brick, the same kind of like, you know, different kind of brick style texture, or just a normal brick. But then here now you're adding it in a banner, and it kind of creates more like volume coming off the building. And then yeah, like going through it in the end too, like I know I've kind of spent a lot of time on this just to kind of end this one off. I think is really cool is like, yeah, you got the variety of minifigures. You kind of got, I don't remember who they compared this one to. He's apparently comparable to a movie character. So if someone knows what it is, you can let me know down below in the comments, but it is supposed to be comparable to a movie character of some sort. For the rest of them, I do think it's really nice that they have different types of characters. I like that they changed up the hairstyle for here. I like that the mom's, like, for example, got a prosthetic leg. Really cool addition to detail and all that stuff there. And then most importantly, you got the window cleaner and the janitor. And yeah, like overall, I'm really excited for this set, and I think it's gonna be a really cool set in general. Now I know that I just spent most of my time on this one, but now we're gonna kind of go ahead. I think the rest of them, the one that I'm really we'll go through all of them in a little bit, maybe a little bit faster. But for me, the Natural History Museum was the one that I think everybody is talking about, and I think is gonna be really cool. But I think this is interesting too. We'll just talk about the GWP. So I did see some people open this one up. I think it's an interesting one, especially because I think it's a Lego Ideas, if I'm not mistaken. It's a nice, fun little tribute to it. My only issue with it is I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of cool standalone, but it would have been nice if you actually built it as like a little building or like a little shop. Feel like it could have had a little bit more. In the end, I do think it's really cool. Like it's only, you know, 307 pieces. I think it's meant for a tribute, if I'm not mistaken. I remember reading something about it, but it's supposed to be like pay tribute to legendary astronomer Galileo Galilei. I think it's still really cool, and I definitely think it's an interesting thing set and whatnot. So we'll keep this going. So when you're looking at the tiny plants, one second. This one here, what I do think is really interesting about this collection is how much it's grown. Like, you know, you look at like the insects one, you look at the bonsai trees, and I know a lot of people that actually like these because they're really cool, like pieces you can add around your house. I think this is kind of cute, actually. I think that like, it's not the best one in my opinion. Like when you kind of go ahead and, you know, you can see all the different plants that kind of go with this. Like I like the cacti. I think they're kind kind of cute and whatnot, but personally, I like more the actual bonsai tree. It feels too, like, if you think about it, like, you're probably targeting these more for adults, and from an adult perspective, like, you'd probably, like, I know there's adults building it, but like, I would rather go ahead and, you know, for example, like, if we just search up, I'll just pull up the bonsai tree. Like, for me, like, this is more, it's more elegant. I think with plants, what makes them successful is that they're their own standalone piece, and they provide like a nice little, like, hey, this is a nice decorative piece for my house or for this room. And for me, I feel like with these plants, they're a little bit too like kid friendly, and like, yeah, they're cute little pots and whatnot, and I like the fact that they're branching out, but personally prefer more like the bonsai tree style. But either way, I do hope that these do well. I hope people do end up enjoying them, buying them. I think this would have been actually really cool GWP if you had, like, instead of having the whole piece, you split these in half or something, and you were able to get like variation of each one, or like you had 3 different variations of the GWP. That's my opinion on it, but overall I think it's cool. You know, it wouldn't be something I'd buy because I don't really, for like this specific thing, but yeah. And I guess it's available December 1st, and it retails for $70 Canadian. Okay, so this one was actually interesting. This one kind of caught my attention, other than the one from Dune, which I think everybody's looking forward to. This one here I think is interesting. I think it's a really cool mix between something you would have kids to use versus something you can actually display yourself. What I really liked, and I hope that this isn't a sticker, I hope this is an actual piece. They're kind of taking, if you look at like the Mandalorian, not Mandalorian, well, I guess, yeah, any of like the kind of helmet collection series, it's the same idea, but this time they're doing like a fossil collection series. And that's why I think it's actually really cool, because it's a different twist on it. And what I actually just like the most is the fact that it's its own display piece, but you could kind of play with it, I guess, if you wanted to. But I don't know, I just really like the plaque that comes with it. I really hope it's not a printed piece. I hope I hope it's not a sticker. I hope it's an actual printed piece, because like looking at it, like, let's see this video. Yeah, like that, it's a really cool plaque, and it should be its own individual thing. So yeah, other than that, I think this was really cool. I think they should continue and do more of like a dinosaur collection series, similar to what they did with the helmets. You know, do a T-Rex, next one do a Bronchiosaurus, or whatever I said before. Yeah, do a Stegosaurus and Ankylosaurus. So anyway, sorry, we're just gonna skip the baby dinosaur rescue one, and then we'll probably, actually, now that I think about it, I didn't realize there was this many baby stuff. But yeah, Animal Crossing. Yeah, so a lot of these were for Animal Crossings, but I'm gonna pass on because I don't follow Animal Crossings, and I think a lot of these are for that. So we're just gonna skip these for now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do the piranha plant, and then we're gonna jump into the Dune one to end it off, because that one I'm very much looking forward to. I think so. This is kind of goes back to the plants, like I was saying before. Like, if you're gonna build, like, this is a good standalone piece for like someone who's an adult, like, because for me, I think adults would take more appreciation into this, because if you play Super Mario, this is a cool display, like it literally says right there, this is a cool display model. And so this, I think, is really cool. So if you're like, for me, like, I'm a big Star Wars fan, I played Super Mario, but like, you know, I would buy this to have it as a display piece. I think this is a lot better idea than doing the little plant collection, because I think plants, what makes them really good is that they're our own standalone display piece. They're supposed to kind of stand out as if it's an art piece in some way. And if they're too small, then they just look like Lego toys. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a negative thing, but I think a lot for these specific types of pieces, you want them to be more 18 and up in this sense, where they're not really, they're nice and clean. They're clean designs. They're not like messy. They don't feel like you have a bunch of clutter. It's more like, this is a really cool substitution than to having like your basic bonsai tree in your house that you found at like IKEA for 20 bucks. Instead, you put in Super Mario Piranha because you like Super Mario, which is totally fine. Yeah, either way, I do think I do love Super Mario. I like what they've done with how they've changed up the minifigures. I love that they've, you know, they're not just normal minifigures, they're, you know, bigger versions of them. I think that's really awesome, but I think this is a really cool set. I don't know if I would go ahead and buy it. Oh, that's interesting. You can insert 2 coin elements. Interesting. That's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, so I like the little functionalities that go with them. I'm not necessarily going to go out and buy this one, but I definitely think it's really cool, and I think it's better than the other plant one, in my opinion. Okay, so to end it off, I think this is the one that everyone's been talking about. I know just as much as the Natural History Museum, but the Dune, how do I say it? Okay, this is the Dune Atreides Royal Ornithopter. I so badly butchered that. I think the coolest thing about this, number one, you get 7 or 8 minifigures, which is insane for something like this. But there's an actual, like, you can actually, for example, like, you can spread the wings on it. You can retract the wings. You can put out the land. You can, like, there's a whole functionality that goes with this thing. So, and for me, like, I think that's really well done. This is not only a display piece, but you have a whole play of, like, there's a whole play functionality that also goes with it, which I think is really rare with some of these Lego sets. Like, a lot of Lego sets, they're just a display piece or they're a playability piece. This one here has both, where you can have mechanical components that like, yeah, like you're saying here, you can just display it, or you can go out and actually spread its wings and do it and do the actual motions. And I did see a video about this, and it's probably up on YouTube somewhere, where there's someone that actually shows all the functionalities of it actually taking off. Its wings expand, and then, you know, after that it can fly around. Well, obviously if you're holding it, and then it retracts the wings, opens up the thing on the back. And so I think in general, like, I think this is really cool. I like how they have like a little bit of a video. Yeah, like you can see like here with all like the mechanical components that go with it, and I do think that is really cool. Okay, so yeah, that is all of the new sets that are coming out for November and December, potentially even January. But again, I'll probably do another one of these videos back in December when it's possible they'll probably add more things or more coming soon and all that stuff there. But for me, like, I think if I'm going to go ahead and give the top three, I only reviewed a certain amount. There wasn't really that many I reviewed, but just for the top three, number 3 is the Piranha Plant. I think it's a really cool display piece. If you're a Super Mario fan, definitely go ahead and buy that. Number 2 is definitely going to be the Dune Atreides Orthopter. You know what I'm talking about, the helicopter bee thingy. That's really cool. I love the mechanical component to that. I love the fact that the wings spread, and then you can like, there's actual mechanical components. It's not just a display piece, and I think that is really well done from the designer perspective. And the fact that you get like 7 or 8 minifigures or whatever it is, I think that's awesome. But then again, number 1, as you've known so far on this channel, especially because I've had a few videos about it already, but huge Lego modular fan. So for me, the fact that they're bringing out the Natural History Museum, the fact that they're bringing it out in December is awesome. You don't have to wait till January, which is when it normally is. But yeah, like overall, I'm definitely excited. Like, I definitely think this was a cool batch. It wasn't as many as I thought it was gonna be, but I know that there was a big promotion for Animal Crossing, and I remembered it as I was going through the video and whatnot. But outside of that, like, again, I'm not an Animal Crossing person, so I can't really give a review on it because I haven't really played the games that much. In the end, like, I think it's really cool. I love the fact that the Natural History Museum and then the Atreides Orthopter. How do I say that? The Dune Atreides Royal Ornithopter. The Dune Atreides Ornithopter. That's how I keep butchering that word. Anyways, I think those are really cool, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing those come out. And I can't wait to actually just go to the Lego store and actually see both of those sets for the first time too, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Natural History Museum comes out on December 1st, but then the you know what I mean, the Dune thing comes out back in February. So there's still some time in between, but even then, I am very excited for these sets, and I can't wait for them to come out. Now, with that being said, make sure you click on one of these 2 videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.